Welcome back to my channel, everybody, and I have right now another 2016 Porsche Cayenne e-hybrid. I am going to be focusing only on the installation of this product given to me by JoyeAuto, but in the future I will get into more details on how I obtained this car and fixed it. And this is the item provided to me by JoyeAuto. It is a wireless Android Auto Apple CarPlay entertainment system, and I basically have to remove the entire radio out for this. And this is compatible with the PCM3.1, which is what I have. I have a touchscreen with the navigation on the cluster in the screen as well. The box has more features right here where you can plug in a USB. You can also mirror your phone screen, so you can watch Netflix on your screen on the car. It also has rear view camera compatibility, and it also integrates with the original rear view camera of my car. And I can also charge my phone, and with the OEM integrated, it means that since this is a hybrid model, I can see the original hybrid and battery screens and charging displays from my original infotainment screen. I can always switch back and forth from this item. The instructions, I'll explain every step by step. Our module right here. This is where everything is controlled, and this is where it gets a little bit more complicated, is that we have to open up the radio module and install this board right here. Here we have the wiring harnesses. You got a integrated microphone and as well as the Wi-Fi antenna. And then we have the entire radio wiring harness. Using some picks in your hands, I'm using this long little pick with a little indentation at the end. Use your other hand and pull out at the same time. Be careful not to remove this silver trim because this is one assembly that needs to come off together. Now that both of the air vents have been removed, using a T30 Torx bit, you can remove all the 4 screws that are holding in the radio. You have to pull the radio forward. This is in my way. I actually added this. I will make a little YouTube short on how I installed this. So let's push this thing back and pull out the radio. Using the pick to make our lives easier, we're going to disconnect this little clip right here and pull back this little tab right here and pull back one by one. Now for the fun part, we have to open the radio up and install this board with the ribbon cables. To get started disassembling the radio, I'm using the iFixit toolkit that I have. I will provide the link in the description. I'm using a T8 Torx. I'm going to remove the 1, 2, 3, 4 Torx screws we have to remove the front plate. The notch right here on each side right there. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 notches we have to press in to pop out the front plate. Now that the front plate is separated, we're going to be careful removing the ribbon cables. There is a little white tab we need to push up right here on each side. You heard that click, it means it's removed. We're going to do the bottom side now. Lift this little tab up, the white tab. You heard that click, now the cable will be removed. The next step is to separate these two parts because you can see right here it slides in between. So we now can remove this little tape right here on each side. Push these little pins out and slide. Now that we have the radio split in half, we now have to remove the 2 ribbon cables right here, the 2 original factory ones, since we're going to be using the ones that JoyeAuto's provided us. We're going to use these little screw lifter pins and remove each pin from the board so we can rise this card right here and install it exactly like this. Pin up the white tab on each side. Lift, you can hear the click. Click. So this one has been removed. Voila. Same thing with the second smaller ribbon cable. Click. Click. And it comes off. Sirius radio module right here. I am going to remove the connector to make this thing a little bit thinner so I can fit the board perfectly. Can't bolt this back in the same spot, so I'm going to be using double-sided 3M tape to keep the cable connector in place. I'm just going to paste it on the side like this. The blue portion of the ribbon cable is going to be touching the white. The original ones I had in my car just fell off, but it would go right here. That would be the setup. Same thing on the bottom right here. The blue portion is touching the white. Looks like it's factory, and I love the clean setup. So this is very easy on my part to do. Now I'm going to close everything up. And then put the notches correctly in place. And then slide the radio back, and then put the screws back in place, and then put the front panel back with the factory ribbon cable sticking out. Now to assemble the radio back together, we need to insert these two notches first. And then get these two little tabs in, and then we could fit these two little notches in here as well. And now it clips back in. It's now flushed. We can then install the 4 screws back in place. Ideally, I want to run the USB cable under the cigarette ashtray and have it really hidden. I'm going to have to remove this little trim piece right here, the center console trim piece. So in order to do that, I need to turn on the ignition, put the car into neutral, and then I can turn off the car, make sure the e-brake is on. I lifted it up. For me, it was pretty simple because I already removed the ashtray. There is a little hole at the bottom, hole punch, where you could just fish the cable through with no problem, without the ashtray, of course. I'm going to now tape the USB cable connector right here. It wasn't that easy, but I was able to get it done. The cable is now fished through here. I'm now going to feed it up in that little gap right here, and then over, under the air vent. Everything's back in place, there's no gaps. I now have the USB cable routed under the vent. I'm now going to disconnect the fiber optics cable, and there is a notch right here that you have to lift up from the fiber optic cables. Lift that tab up and then pull out. Need to install the fiber optics from the car. I'm going to now take the aux from the harness and plug it in here. And the next step is to plug this into the module right here for the power. And then this is going to go in here. I took the microphone and I decided to just tuck it in around here. It's very subtle, so you can't notice it much. It's very hidden. I moved the cable all the way up here and then got it fished. I'm going to go down here and just feed it underneath the steering wheel cover and then fish it up here and then into the rear of the radio. Now that I fished the wire up here, I can now tape the auxiliary microphone to here, and just like that, it was that easy. Now I'm going to tuck all the cables under here. The fuse, you remember you got to use the fishing cable, and if I touch the cable, the fishing rod, it's right there. So I'm just going to now pull it all the way out, and then I'm going to select a fuse location where it's only powered on when the ignition is on. I have plugged in the fuse with the positive touching the single pin on the last row right here, because now when I put it on the ignition, the light turns on. When I turn off the ignition, the light turns off. So that's exactly what I wanted. And now for first time setup, we're going to turn on the touchscreen DIP, because I have touchscreen on the car and I have to basically calibrate it. And I do have an original reverse camera, but I was told that the 8 DIP switch does not work. So I'm going to leave that off. I'm going to turn on just that one for now. And we gotta go down and select Porsche. Since I already set up the car, it already automatically connected me to the Apple CarPlay Android Auto. The JoyeAuto is tucked way down here. You can kind of see it's kind of hard to tell. There was enough space to fit in there. Now I just need to get the cabling to go in this little corners right here. And then we can slide the radio in smoothly. And now that everything's plugged in, we can start the car. Let's turn on the air conditioning. See, now we got into the factory infotainment screen. If we wait a couple more seconds, we'll be able to automatically jump into the JoyeAuto Apple CarPlay Android Auto radio, and it automatically jumps into the CarPlay mode or Android Auto since I'm already set up. And I like this. This makes my life so much easier. I got the USB port right here, so I could charge a phone wired or have wired Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. And let's give it a couple more seconds so that it jumps automatically into the Android Auto section. I'm going to cover up my address. Voila. Overall, I'm very happy with the installation of this. It's very easy. I have a hybrid system on my car. I can check the battery level and everything, which is nice. And if I want to switch back to CarPlay, navigation, Android Auto. I can see it. And there we go. Can't play any further because of copyright, but you get the idea. The audio quality is just as great as it was before. I'm using the fiber optics. And the cool thing is with the USB cable, it works. I could charge my phone as well. I got an extra USB cable and I got the wireless charger right here as well. Which I have the wireless charger plugged into here. And the JoyeAuto, they gave me this little like bypass for the infotainment screen for the auxiliary to work in your infotainment screen so that you can have the audio from the JoyeAuto play in the car. In my case, I already had the aux enabled in the car like by default. So I didn't have to use like the PWIS or Autel MaxCCs or Top Down to activate the menus in the car, the auxiliary menus. What I mean is the media, you get the aux. Like my car already had aux enabled. So as long as you have that enabled, you'll be able to have the audio and the CarPlay working perfectly fine. Make sure aux is turned on. The calls as well as the music, all the music goes to the JoyeAuto units. So for first time setup, for Apple CarPlay, for example, we're going to jump into the CarPlay section. We're going to go into the iPhone settings. We're going to jump into Bluetooth. Turn on Bluetooth. We're going to not connect to the PCM, which is a Porsche. I actually named my system, I believe it's Porsche, or if it's another name for the JoyeAuto. Let's give it a second. There we go, Porsche. We select it. Pair, allow, connect. This is the first time setup for the Porsche. I already did Android Auto. And there we go. Look at that. This is nice. This is very nice. I'm very happy with this product, and so far overall I give it 10 out of 10. And the cool thing is the buttons also work too, which is nice. So I could select. We can select YouTube. Review camera. Remember, we don't touch any of the DIP switches or the settings within the JoyeAuto unit, but look that we now get the review cameras with the sensors. So I'm going to go out of the review camera, and we're now going to exit out of the CarPlay mode. Next step is to basically turn on and off your Bluetooth and Wi-Fi off your iPhone, and then turn them back on. Go into the screen mirroring option, and then you'll see this. You'll select it, and it'll take about a second. Right now it's named LY Link, and now we're back on my iPhone, and we can play the YouTube video that I'm playing, which is pretty nice. I can watch movies and stuff like that on here. Last but not least, the functionality of all the buttons. Everything works as normal, as it should. If I want to go back to my car and look at the battery, I can take a look, and I can always switch back into the CarPlay menu. If I want to go to my phone, it activates Siri. Hey Siri, call mother. Okay, she's about to call my mother, so I'm going to tell her to cancel. Cancel. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video tutorial on how to install it and use the JoyeAuto, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay radio add-on to your PCM. And please show support to my channel by subscribing and liking this video and sharing the video. And don't forget to show support to JoyeAuto and buy the product as well. All the links are in the description below, as well as the tools. Anyways, I'll see you in the next video.